Hi students, in the last two classes we have dealt with industrialization and social change. Now we have to see what we mean by changed lives. So in the industrialization, there is a possibility for talented individuals to bring revolutionary changes in science and technology. We have seen some examples in the case of Darby and others. Similarly, there were many rich and individuals who took risk and invested money in industries in the hope of making profits and multiplying their wealth. In most cases, this money, that is a capital, did multiply. Wealth increased dramatically in the form of goods, incomes, services, knowledge, and productive efficiency. At the same time, there was a massive negative human cost. Families were breaking down. Life in the cities was degrading, and people had to work under horrible working conditions in factories. In 1750, there were just two cities with a population of over 50,000 in England. But by 1850, there were 29 such cities with a population of over 50,000. But there was not enough arrangement for housing, sanitation, or clean water for the rapidly growing urban population. Newcomers were forced to live in overcrowded slums in the central areas of towns near factories. The rich people escaped this situation by shifting their homes to the suburbs where the air was clean and the water safe to drink. Now you can see at the outbreak of corona, some areas in India, especially the big cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, are suffering from the pandemic. The reason is that a lot of people are living just without much gap. So their houses are very nearby. If any person gets coronavirus in one apartment, in one room, it is spreading very fast to the other families there. So this is a situation that we are facing now. Same situation was there when we see just after the industrialization. When the cities were overpopulated, overcrowded, there were a lot of problems. We have seen the case of Dharavi in Mumbai, the slum, where most of the people of India, poor people of India are living. The number is very high and the people are living very much in a congested manner. Proper sanitation is not there, clean water is not available, and the urban population makes the things very difficult. Now after the lockdown, for example, we all suffer. Even then, there is something good. Even the climate changed and the people are getting some of the health benefits. Now we are not regularly going to the hospitals. Yes, some people are suffering too much because of their chronic diseases. But even then, the climatic condition changed. So, the lives of the people changed much during the time of industrialization. So, next we have to see the workers. A survey in 1842 revealed that the average lifespan of the workers was lower than that of any other social group in cities. It was 15 years in Birmingham, 17 in Manchester, 21 in Derby. In the new industrial cities, people died at a young age than in the villages. half the children fail to survive beyond the age of 5. The increase in the population of cities was because of immigrants rather than by an increase in the number of children born to families who already lived there. Deaths were primarily caused by epidemics of disease like cholera and typhoid that spread from the pollution of water, or tuberculosis from the pollution of air. More than 31,000 people died from an outbreak of cholera in 1832 time. Until late in the 19th century, municipal authorities did not pay any attention to these dangerous conditions of life. People did not have the medical knowledge to understand and cure these diseases. Now, we are also suffering from the pandemic, that is the coronavirus known as COVID-19. That was also a time where people suffered a lot. In England alone, 31,000 people died. It's not a big history for us because there are lakhs of people being killed because of the new coronavirus. So, everyone need to take care of their environment also. Whatever be the development, let the development be there. With that, we have to take care of the environment also. Now we can see about the women, children, and what happened to them in the industrialization. The Industrial Revolution brought many important changes in the way children and women worked. In the rural areas, children usually worked at home or in the farm under the watchful eye of parents and relatives. They did jobs that changed during the day or between seasons. Similarly, in villages, women were actively involved in farm work. They looked after the livestock, gathered firewood, and spun yarn or spinning wheels in their homes. But in the factories, they had to work for long hours without break. They did the same kind of work under strict discipline and sharp forms of punishment. The women and children were forced to work to supplement men's meager wages. As the use of machinery spread, fewer workers were needed. Industrialists preferred to employ women and children because they would easily agree to work in poor working conditions and for lower wages than men. Women and children were employed in large numbers in cotton textile industry in Lancashire and Yorkshire. Women were also the main workers in the silk, lace making and knitting industries, as well as along with children in the metal industries of Birmingham. Machineries like cotton spinning jenny was designed to be used by child workers with their small fingers and bodies. Children worked in textile factories because they were small enough to move between tightly packed machinery. The long hours of work, including cleaning the machines on Sundays, allowed them no fresh air or exercise. Children sometimes caught their hair in machines or crushed their hands. Some even died when they fell into the machines as they were dropped off to sleep from the exhaustion. Coal mines were also dangerous places to work in. Roofs caved in or there could be an explosion and injuries were common. The owners of common mines used children to reach deep coal faces where the path was too narrow for adults. So whenever there is narrow path, when they have to go very deeper, the younger children were worked as trappers who opened and shut doors as the coal wagons traveled through the mines, or carried heavy loads of coal on their backs as coal bearers. You have a lesson, a poem in English that how the child laborers were working. You might have studied the poem or you will be seeing that. Then factory managers were considered child labor to be an important training for future factory work. The British factory records revealed that about half of the factory workers had started working when they were less than 10 years old and 28% when they were under 14. Though women got financial independence and self-esteem from their jobs but had to tolerate humiliating terms of work. They lost the children at birth or in early childhood and had to live in squalid urban slums. So the children and women were suffering under the industrialization that happened in 18th century. So we'll see this was the situation in England, where the textile industry and the iron industry and the coal industry were at its height. So very poor working condition was there for some. But some others, those who were able to invest money, they earned a lot. Now we'll see what happened in the industrialization that happened in Germany and France. So in the 18th century, England started industrialization. So but until 1850 and 70, that industrial production became prominent in Germany and France. As you may remember, Germany was not united till 1870 and France was facing wars and revolutions. Unlike Britain, which had extensive colonies, Germany and France did not have colonies and access to colonial resources. Thus, they had to make up for their disadvantages. So as we have seen, England had a stable government and also they had a lot of colonies in Africa and Asia. And they could collect a lot of raw materials and they were able to sell their products in those colonies. But here in Germany and France, this was not a possibility. So when they got a chance, they wanted to introduce all of them in a faster manner. So in both France and Germany, industrialization increased with the introduction of railways in 1830s. Railways increased trade, communication and economic growth. By 1850, various German states had constructed half as many railways as Britain and twice as many as France. Prussia exploited its rich coalfields, that is Silesia and Rhineland or the Ruhr, and iron deposits, that is in Bohemia, in order to create a flourishing steel industry. Alfred Krupp had established a small iron foundry at Essen in 1810. By 1870, Krupp of Essen had been transformed into a giant company with its railway locomotive and arrangements in production. They employed thousands of workers and made a fortune for the Krupp family. The inventions of the electric dynamo by Vernon Siemens in 1866 laid the foundation of a new electrical industry in which Germany would lead the world. So the electrical company Dynamo made the Germans to be the world leaders. The defeat of France in 1870 and the creation of a united Germany in 1781 stimulated industrialization even further. The new politically united Germany could now exploit the iron-rich fields of Lorraine taken from France. So this will be the cause of World War I and also World War II even. So in between we have a small part where what was the condition of child laborers is given there. We can just go through it. So the horrible condition of child labourers is stated in the evidence collected by a committee of British Parliament in 1816. The following information was collected from a one-time master of apprentice in a cotton mill. He was asked questions by the committee on the conditions of child labourers in his factory. So what are the questions and the answers we'll see. At what age were they taken? Those that came from London were from about 8 or 10 to 15. That's what his answer. Up to what period were they apprenticed? 1 and 20. What were the hours of work? From 5 o'clock in the morning till 8 at night. So you can imagine how much time they were working. Were 15 hours in the day the regular hours of work? That's the answer is yes. Now, when the works were stopped for the repair of the mill or for any want of cotton, did the children afterwards make up for the loss of that time? Yes is the answer. That means more than 15 hours they have to work. Did the children sit or stand to work? Answer is stand. The whole of their time? Answer is yes. So if, for example, if you are asked to stand up for answering a question or as a punishment, 2 minutes if you were standing in the class, you were all complaining. Now, more than 15 hours, these children were standing to work. Then the next question that is asked, were there any seats in the mill? None. I have found them frequently upon the mill floors. After the time they should have been in bed. So there is no bed, nothing like. They have to be there on the floor only. Were any children injured by the machinery? That is very natural, frequently, very frequently. That was the answers and question that is given in a survey in England. Now, yes, we are coming back to Germany again. Then the German government encouraged industrialization in Germany by providing a large market for its industries, building roads, railways and developing mines. So the government was helping the industrialize to the maximum. They were building roads, railways and also the mines were also developed. The German army required large quantities of arms and ammunition. So many leading industrialists focused on the armament industry. The government also controlled working class movement and provided many social benefits and insurance for the workers. This enabled the factory owners to control their workers and pay less. So all this has led the world into a world war that we will see in our future classes. So the industrialization has created a particular kind of class. One is the labor class and also the rich people. So the next revolution that we will be dealing is Russian Revolution. The basis for the Russian Revolution we can see in class struggle that we will study maybe in 10th class. But you see in England, France and Germany, the people who were suffering a lot made these revolutions happen. So what about German industry? We will come back to that. German industry also benefited from the technical developments achieved by Britain and USA. They borrowed the new technology which other countries had developed over a long time. For this, they needed heavy capital investment which they received from large banks. So we have seen in England also, the development started with the investments of money from large banks. These banks started giving money to the German industries also. Thus, the German industries developed as large units and were bigger than British industries in size and scope. That is what is the development that happened in Germany. Then German industrialization initially had competition with the British in many key sectors like cotton textiles and machine building. However, soon Germany developed iron and steel, chemical and electrical industries, which were new generation industries and overtook Britain in these areas. Britain was having cotton industry as its basis. But here we can see the Germans developed iron and steel, chemical and electrical industries, and they became a richer country compared to even England. So by the beginning of 20th century, Germany had developed a powerful industrial base. It was challenging Britain and Europe's major industrial powers. Britain was still producing more coal, but Germany was producing more steel. What was worrying for Britain and France was that a great proportion of this industrial production was used to build up Germany's military and naval power. So France, in contrast, was slow in industrializing. Even by the end of 19th century, France remained a rural country with a large majority of people cultivating small plots of land. Manufacturers found it more profitable to give out work to rural workers who worked at home rather than to set up factories in towns. Such rural domestic production began to decline after 1850, resulting in economic adversity for the people. Machines in towns began to do most of the work, and only delicate handwork was given out to the rural workers. We will see about the Krupp family afterwards. We will continue with French industrialization was also a result of the spread of railway and road networks after 1860, which created a wide market for its industrial goods. France also did not develop banks which could mobilize large amount of capital and lend them to industrialize. As a result, most of French manufacturers depend upon family resources. They remained small companies as a result. It also made them slow in adopting new ideas and technology. So, compared to England and Germany, France has been pushed back because they were not having bank investments. Their banks were not developed ones, and also the industrialists were because of their family income only. So it was very less comparatively. Then heavy industries based on iron and coal also developed very slowly in France, and it did not have good reserves of coal. France had to depend upon expensive imports for coal. Thus, French industrialization remained focused on consumer products like textiles, which were basically small-scale enterprises. This was in contrast to the German and British industrial situations where heavy industries predominated. So in this chapter, we have seen what is industrialization and what happened with the developmental pattern of England, Germany and France. And now, one of the family which developed arms factory was Krupp family in Germany. The Krupp family established what was going on to become the world's largest arms factory. This first factory specialized in the field of gun manufacture, and by 1887 it supplied arms to 46 different countries. During World War I, the Krupp factories made guns for the German artillery. The Krupp supported Hitler in the German general election in 1933. As Nazi Germany occupied neighboring countries, Alfred Krupp seized new land to make more factories. Many of these factories used slave labor from the Nazi concentration camps. So this family has led the World War I by selling arms to 46 different countries. And such kind of a development in the negative way, the industrialization has become a negative force in the in this time. Even though there were many good things that we can see through the industrialization, there were a lot of bad things also. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding this, you can get back to your socials teachers through WhatsApp or when they are conducting Zoom meetings also. Thank you for listening to me. I did not explain too much because of the time limit. But if you have any doubts, you are welcome to clear your doubts. Thank you very much.